Welcome everybody to some more HGC Korea, and we are back with our final matches of the regular season. Tonight, all rankings will be finalized, and we will have our exact score going into playoffs.
That's right, and then still the hot news, hot topic is Genji. We just saw lots of Genjis coming out from EU and NA also. Just to remind you guys, if you have not caught the matches from yesterday, we had not 8 games, and we had 8 Genzis. Oh, but the results, not so good.
1 and 7. 1 and then 7.
Yeah, compared to other regions, it seems like Koreans are trying a little bit more to Genji. We have not really found this perfect comp, or will we ever find the perfect comp with Genji?
I skimmed through the VODs, and it seemed like overall it was really a similar theme. Sometimes we saw the Tyrael coming in with him, the Uther, and it just feels like in Europe he's found more success, but here I don't know what is missing, but he's unable to get the extra damage to get the resets and fly off like he does in solo queue. Like in solo queue, I know everyone's played the solo queue Genji, he seems really strong. Your opponents aren't in comms together, they're not in the same room, in the same booth like it is here in Korea. So, I mean, these guys are sitting right next to each other on, voice comms. It's a lot easier to coordinate against the Genji than it is just in solo queue. That's why you see Rich, he's probably streaming right now. Shame on him for streaming while we're casting. But he streams Genji all day, every day, and you watch him stream, you're like, oh my god, it's the strongest hero in the game. Perhaps in solo queue.
Yeah, perhaps in solo queue. When you don't have a team against you that's going to call out CC everything on Genji, and then Genji's going to evaporate, delete it off the camera. We just saw that happen lots of times, especially in KR. Well, that's the story that we're going to continue seeing Genji as we have the rest of the teams playing today. We have lots of other great games, BlossoM Mighty, and also Raven Tempest happening later tonight. So it's going to wrap up the entire season of Korea, but still, it's going to be a little bit hectic because the rank is not going to matter a little bit much. And as what I got from lots of the Korean teams is that they're not really scrimming each other because they have to go through that playoff next week. So they want to have this matches as like a little bit more of an experiment to test out what they have been practicing.
Yeah, exactly. So because these matches don't technically matter in terms of placement and playoffs, we're just seeing some experimentation for sure. Hopefully, we see something a little bit more clean than what we saw from Black yesterday, but only time will tell. Here are the standings for the Western world. 13-1 for Fnatic, Tempo Storm at 12-1. Those are your two teams going to the midseason brawl in Sweden. The other two teams will be decided by playoffs in those regions. The Korea stats here have L5 at the top, and we are going to be seeing Black, Tempest, Mighty, Miracle, and GG battle it out in playoffs. So it's going to be, just to explain this to you guys, GG versus Miracle. The winner of that faces off against Mighty. The winner of that faces off against Tempest, etc. So that's how it's going to go until eventually one of these teams, likely Tempest or Mighty, just based on what we've seen in this tournament so far, ends up facing off against MVP Black. Will Black be able to defend their spot? They've been at every International Heroes of the Storm event since HGC started, and this could be the first time they're not if Tempest can dethrone them. Here are our final matchups for regular season. It's going to be BlossoM versus Mighty and Raven against Tempest. So we are jumping into these final ones, starting off, of course, here with BlossoM. BlossoM has been unable to take a series off of any team except Raven. They've defeated Raven twice, and that is it.
That is it, and it was both 3-0s, luckily, and also these are the teams that will go down to the Crucible, and they have to climb their way back up to HGC Korea again. So, and I also heard from lots of Korean casters that Raven and BlossoM are practicing even more harder because they will be facing that Crucible very soon, a week after the playoff. Here's BlossoM, Judy Wiz, due to No Chat and Scarlet. A very good team of the Dream Team, as many have expected them to climb up a little bit higher than where they are right now. And the key player is Judy, the one on ETC. Played a lot of games on ETC, especially played lots of solid games with Diablo, with Malfurion to combo, but the result was not the best. Of course, you also see Stitches and Johanna They've been losing lots of matches against the stronger teams.
Yeah.
So the result looks pretty bad, but still, he has been playing solid frontline tank for his job.
Definitely true, and his stitches was definitely interesting. I feel like the accuracy was pretty good. The trust there coming out from Scarlet was pretty awesome, but yep, this team is going to have to step it up if they want to have a chance against Mighty, who's actually quickly becoming one of the contenders for that top spot, as they played very well against Tempest. It could be that this team actually defeats Tempest again and goes to the finals of the playoffs against MVP Black. Could upset. Be the first time a new team like this in Korea would go to that spot. And, you know, if you look back at OGN and Korean heroes historically, besides MVP Black winning Spring, there's always been a new challenger, new upset going in. Season 2 last year, we had Tempest rise through. They ended up winning the Global. And then Season 3, it was Ballistics, then known as L5, and now they're back at L5, that was able to win OGN Season 3 and then go on to win BlizzCon. And could Mighty continue this trend? It almost feels like a curse for the favorites in these tournaments. Could Mighty break break expectations and defeat Tempest in the playoffs and then go to Sweden and upset there as well? That would be a huge upset, but there's always been upsets in OGN's Korean heroes history, so that's the story that everyone is looking towards Mighty for here.
That's right. Mighty has been, most of the time, starting from Super League, they have been sometimes in top 4, but never at the finals. So maybe this is their time to step up, maybe defeat Tempest and challenge MVP Black for the last finals of the playoff next week. Let's see. I think it's very likely, and also Mighty just beat Tempest 3-1 last week. So let's see if that happens again.
Our bans here are quite unusual. We have the ban on Infernal Shrines for Mighty. BlossoM is going to ban Dragonshire. So we're going to curse yet again. We saw this in both series yesterday. We'll see it once here again. So I'm excited to see how the Genji is going to play out today, because despite the fact that I personally think we're not in a state where people understand him fully enough to play him yet. I think because of the low impact of today's matches in terms of the broader scale going into playoffs, we are going to see some more experimentation. We are going to see him, so we'll see if we can learn some more tonight. As we learned a little bit yesterday, it was mostly that playing around Genji seems to be a pretty good way to handle him so far.
That's right, and it took a long time for a lot of the players and teams to find where Zarya fit, as Zarya was a hybrid between warrior and like a support almost. And Genji is also a hybrid between some mage because of his skill kit, and also kind of like a melee, but also very ranged at the same time. So it's going to take some time for all the teams to get used to him and find the perfect team comp.
I would I would venture to say that he'll end up being. This is my official prediction, G-Clef, is he will be first picked again here by BlossoM. My official prediction is he will settle to a place like Illidan is right now, where he's very niche. There are certain compositions you can draft. If you get all the right pieces, it's almost like building Exodia. If you have all the right pieces in the draft, you can 5th pick him, lock him in, and then you have this insanely powerful melee assassin. I feel like Genji will serve a similar role once the meta settles. But for now, he is the new hot, and he is on top of the list. Has been picked by the weaker teams every time in this slot in first pick. This is going to be no exception.
As you see down there, Genji, 1-7 in Korea only. And the response of... That's the downside of first picking Genji. Both the global and the strong tank Murden is already taken for Mighty's side. I think they can either... With the second ban, they can also go for that warrior choke, as BlossoM is going to have a harder time to dealing with it.
Oh,
Mighty already has a global. BlossoM banned Falstad themselves, and ETC stage dive is just not possible at the moment. It's possible, but no teams are picking it because they expect the stage dive to come on right behind them, and then all they have to do is just fall behind maybe 2 seconds earlier. They are very used to it by now.
Yeah.
So that's why stage dive is not coming up. Also because Malfurion would root every single time right onto the spot where ETC will stage dive in.
We've seen the evolution of stage dive, and even players like Scroll from Taiwan with great accuracy and really good usage of the global became popular, but it's fallen out. And this time BlossoM is going to get the Tyrael with the Genji, which was denied by all the other teams, including L5, who were repeatedly banned the Tyrael or picked him away in first rotation. So this is a terrifying notion of, okay, we've got Genji and invulnerability for the Dragon Blade. They have sustained healing and poke with Malfurion. And there's no way for Mighty to root with Malfurion taken away. So I feel like in terms of drafting here, Mighty has given BlossoM a lot of opportunities. And banning the Zeratul here is something that's kind of required. So not that they could do to stop the Genji, but the Muradin pick with a Dahaka, yes, it takes away. So it could kind of lean into a tank choke, but I just feel like they should have taken the Tyrael away. That's what we saw so many times yesterday. And when the Sank pops, Genji's not killing anybody. He's got, like I said yesterday, a wet noodle when he's got that Dragon Blade. So,
yep, we saw that. But this Genji team comp, as they took Tyrael themselves, along with Malfurion, this kind of team comp came out in NA and EU most of the time. Most of the times from EU. It was just one day, but still, and EU still has, I believe, 3 out of 3 Genji wins in only EU. So maybe, and BlossoM is known for a team that's been trying some new things every time it comes out. Like first thing, Zarya, when Zarya was out. Genji, I'm pretty sure they have planned something already. And Mighty seems like they've been just responding like the draft, the normal draft before the Genji.
You have to really sing the praises of Joker in Mighty's last few best of 5s, especially the series against Tempest. And he is playing a lot of the Muradin, so I think it's really going to be on him to make sure he hits those Storm Bolts, to be aggressive enough up on the front lines. I like that BlossoM decided to ban the Tychus instead of the Li Ming. The Li Ming idea was to prevent the poke that could come out for Mighty, and Mighty still made 5th picker here. But taking the Tychus away is stronger because Tyrael does have that base spell armor, and you know, Tychus is going to just be stronger at busting the tanks in general. So, like the Tychus ban. Let's see what BlossoM wants to close this one out with. They need another range damage of some type. At least that's what you know, the meta would tell us. See if they try to change something up here, because this is pretty unusual meta with the Genji coming in. We've even seen a Nubarak to counter him.
That's right. Genji's also available for ranged and some pokes to cancel on that channeling on the tributes, as this is Cursed Hollow. So maybe I thought about Li Ming. Maybe not. They don't even need to have Li Ming. There's Stitches again coming out. That's going to be on duty again.
This is going to be such a pick-based composition. They need to get hooks. They need to get roots for the follow-up. Cassia can go in on that target immediately. She may even go for the Valkyrie so that she could pull. There's the 5th pick Li Ming we were talking about, so that's going to give them the extra poke anyways. But yeah, I think that the composition of Mighty is obviously the better, more well-rounded one, and BlossoM has gone all in on this pick-based comp. We could even see X-Strike with this. I hope not, but it's definitely a possibility, as Genji will be a good tool to delay the tribute channels. Don't forget, Disintegrate is not an option in the face of Genji, or you will kill yourself, quite literally. So let's go into game number 1 on Cursed Hollow. See if Mighty, with their well-rounded draft, can take this one. Oh, I always do that in my solo queue games too. I feel you, Dudu. Dudu will be on the Genzis, Scarlet's on Malfurion, Wiz on the Tyrael, Judy on Stitches, and no chat on Cassia.
And in red, Mighty, Joker on Muradin, Sands on the Haka, Magi on Sergeant Hammer, Nasang on Kerazim, and SDE on his famous Li Ming.
Here we go. It's Bikini Stitches.
That's what you need.
That's what you need.
You gotta respect Noblesse. That's what he said, and then you just have to follow.
You gotta follow. Trust in the bikini. Can't believe I'm saying these words in a televised broadcasted match, but I am. Or it's happening. SDE is looking for the extra chip damage here. There's no way to punish him. He's actually getting away with this for a long time. Nasang is there to predict the movements. Okay, 1 for 1 so far for Stormbolts here for Joker. We talked about how this is going to be important, and I'm going to keep track of that as this game ticks on.
There's the watch him out. There's a great hook, but the ball road to cancel some damage. Gets a lot of damage, but I don't think it's...
He's going to die, actually. Down he goes. Dudu gets out.
Yeah, Dudu was actually very close to dying also.
That was very greedy by BlossoM, but they worked it out. That was pretty cool. He used his cyber agility to jump over and then dash at a weird angle, so Magi couldn't actually predict where he was going to go. See the brush talk for him just to come back in the lane. And obviously this push is really annoying to deal with the stitches. That's why they went for that gank, and they were successful, but they're going to have to do it again. Looks like they're going to commit. You can see Genji on the minimap. Okay, he's coming up. Magi is the target this time. Sand's actually going to block the hook. So, gets hooked, but it's not significant.
That's going to be a super strong top push. The Hawkeye has the wave clear, and Sergeant Hammer can be on that siege mode to take down the first wall. Top turret. I believe he almost got the first turret on the top lane.
Yep.
So that's going to be a lot of pressure.
Top one is down. The second one's about to go down. It's actually out of ammo, so...
So Sergeant Hammer actually went Hearth back home. So for the 2-minute camp, it's going to come out very soon.
Yep. There it is. So Nasong and Magi going to clear this one real quick. And it's going to be material clearing it here with Genji on the side of BlossoM. A much slower clear, actually. So going to be faster cap for Mighty, as you guys can see. And, you know, this is all very standard for the map. The 2-minute cap timing. Tribute's going to spawn in about 20 seconds. And where the Tribute spawns is really how things change in this incredibly neutral early game. Chat takes a lot of damage there. His trade's not going to protect him against AP damage like that. So where the Tribute spawns will impact which one of these Merc camps ends up being more impactful. You obviously want your Merc camp to be on the opposite side of where the Tribute is, so that you can get the maximum amount of value out of it. Okay, where's it going to be? Down here in bots. This is actually good for BlossoM, in fact, in terms of the Merc camp, but it looks like it might be cleared before this matters.
I haven't seen a bottom Tribute in a while. That's the first one. The team comp from BlossoM is more like just poke everything from Cassia and Genji and try to get picks from Stitch's hooks. So from Mighty's side, it'll be like playing Galaxy, just trying to evade whatever is coming at you. Mighty, if you actually want, maybe Sergeant Hammer will even go with the VFG and try to have the burst and just take out Genji or even Cassia from beginning of the fight.
Ooh.
Try to win off that.
Nice pick here. Onto Cassia. Wiz is going to be pretty low. We'll have to Hearth home. But yeah, I agree with you. It's a slam build coming out from Judy as well, so it's not going to give him that much protection against the damage that comes out from the BFG. Joker is 2 for 2 for Stormbolts we've seen so far. I believe that is, yeah, it's the Shuriken build coming out. Shuriken Mastery at level 4 for Genji in this game. So he's looking to stack up that damage. Obviously, I talked about this yesterday. I feel like if you're perfect with hitting your Shurikens, you're still only going to hit triple very rarely. So it's mostly for clearing the boss very quickly or defending against a boss, pushing down structures, things like that. That's where you're going to get the guaranteed damage.
It's also to finish off the last bit of HP when you go in with the Strict Strike, and if you cannot get a kill, just hit the Q with all 3 and hold on to that thought. There's a team fight going on near the Tribute.
Joker's actually very low, but he will heal up very quickly with his trait. Second wind. A lot of damage going on to No Chat here. Another Stormbolt connects onto Judy, unfortunately. Dudu wants to come in and punish Joker right now, but he needs to make sure he doesn't overextend. They look for the channel here. This would give them Curse Point. Nice route follow-up for the hook, but unfortunately there's just no one nearby enough to get the secured kill. Dudu's doing what he can, but diving in there would be suicide. Joker would hit the Stormbolt for sure. And SDE is committing here.
He's looking for more kills. It did not get one, and Joker comes along to help. SDE a little bit, so SDE will be safe for the moment. And actually, a great hook coming to Joker. Cassia goes down.
Well, I don't know if that hook ended up being the right choice. That might have actually helped him get that kill. Got him right into the right position he wanted. He tried to get the hook there and he did some extra damage. To no avail, though, sadly. Mighty now with Curse Point and the level 10 advantage. This is the 5:30 to 6-minute potential boss timing with heroic stuff that we see when teams are ahead on this map. So we'll see if that actually becomes a reality. It doesn't look like it. Looks like they just want to push mid instead. They have such a strong push comp with the hammer and the Li Ming.
That's right. That's exactly why the entire team of BlossoM was very low on HP, except for Genji. Even before the fight, they were forced off the tribute. Their positioning was very off, but Mighty was all staying in together to cover each other.
I mean, barring that solo Q Malfurion just walks down mid and dies, and it says open mid, you can't really be more ahead than this, right? In terms of this game right now, Mighty just has total control. Joker's going to buy a lot of time here. Will pop his avatar now. They have Heroic, so they can just turn this fight. Does get hooked, which actually saves him against Tyrael's trait.
But SD gets resets. He's
oh
gonna
my
get
god,
three kills
Joker.
already picked off. It's going to be Wave of Force helping him doing that last bit of damage. That's going to be 4 kills in total.
I think he dies to the Tyrael trait if he doesn't get hooked there, right? He already used his Dwarf Toss. That's so lucky. He was so low, though. I mean, really, this is just absurd. Okay, so now they've got the curse. They have this super strong push. Still no 10 for BlossoM as they got basically wiped in that fight. So there's going to be a double fort already. The bot fort was down long ago. Pre-cleanse there, really nice against the Stormbolt.
Sheerwood was away from the hook, so did could not get a kill on the Li Ming. It's going to be a strong push. BlossoM is still not 10. Mighty's about to face 13 instead. There's a 7-sided strike. Joker goes all the way, and they want the kill.
They're going to get it. Still no 10 here for BlossoM, so no real way to punish this. We're going to look for another hook here, but the keep isn't really helping that much because it's deactivated.
Also, the Haka has been pushing this entire time, so that's why they're able to hit 13 before.
Yep, so they have the double talent tier advantage, including Heroics now. And that is going to be level 10 finally for BlossoM as they lose their keep. The top keep wall was down, as you mentioned, because of the split push to Haka. And this may be the time Mighty decides to just take a safe boss at home after Hearthing. I really like that and respect that BlossoM is going to boss here. Will be Gorge, by the way, for Stitches. He's going to be able to remove someone from the fight. That will likely actually be Muradin, just simply because of how Joker's aggressively positioned. So they're going to remove him from the fight and then look to try to 5v4 while he's in the belly. Genji's holding his Heroic right now, by the way. Joker's going to come over here, scout the boss. Hook totally whiffs there, and Joker just doesn't miss Stormbolts. That's like a fact. Like, look it up on Wikipedia.
That hook could have been actually close to be a pick because Dwarf Toss was just used to go over the wall that was closed by Judy. But if they can gorge anyone, especially someone like Li Ming, I think they're going to have a chance to win the team fight. But except for that, it's going to be very tough.
It's just they're playing with one hand tied behind their back now with all the disadvantage that's stacked against them with the talent tier advantage, the map control, the early keep pressure. Mighty's just going to push with the boss to make sure they can secure a keep, because even if they ignore the boss of BlossoM, it's not going to matter. They're going to lose a fort at worst. Worst case scenario. Lose a fort to get a keep. Pretty good trade.
Dudu has been doing some damage onto Joker, but Joker says, haha, try what you have to.
There's
a
the
gorge
gorge.
onto Muradin, though. Mighty still has a lot of damage for themselves, and Muradin gets taken off.
Sanctification comes up with the Dragon Blade. Here we go. This is it. Kenji, show us your stuff. He does end up, they end up losing Cassia there. He does end up doing a lot of damage, but not enough.
He does some damage, and Mighty had more burst with 7-sided and Li Ming just doing tons of burst damage for Mighty's side.
Well, this is going to be enough. The boss is going to tank this. The counter boss is dead. They're just going to go for the core here. That's going to go game number 1 over to Mighty. And Genji's win rate continues to plummet at 1 and 8. Now, let's not forget, like, statistics can always look, you can make statistics look any way you want. We have to keep in mind that the Genjis have been picked almost every time first pick. And which team gets first pick? The losing team. So obviously the weaker teams are the ones that are getting the first pick, picking Genji early. So if you had L5 versus L5, maybe we'd be able to make a straight up perfect, you know, is Genji good? Like, should we look at the stats sort of comparison? But it hasn't been helping the weaker teams that have been losing and going into first pick to win. Let's just say that.
Also, to remember from yesterday, I believe the one game when Miracle did not have first pick Genji, I believe it was like 3rd or 4th pick Genji.
Yeah.
They won that
Yeah,
game.
that's Dami.
Because they saw the team file, opponent's team comp, and then decided, maybe we can bring in Genji here. That's exactly when you pick Genji, not as a first pick. I don't think Genji is a first pick material. Of course, I think these teams are trying to really experiment with Genji, so they want to have first pick, bring it, and try to make a team comp with Genji, but not now, especially in Korea. He's 1-8 now.
Yeah, well, I mean, Stitches doesn't really pair with him, so that's another thing. Like, I feel like if they had the Arthas or another just standard tank instead, suddenly we're looking at a situation where Genji helps to catch the slowed targets, can do a lot more, get a lot more value there.